So our goal for the day is to get this massive pile of compost out into the pasture and stir up some fertility for the season. So building pasture fertility here at Riverbend is, one of our core focuses all the time. It's why, or one of the reasons we do rotational grazing with multi-species. But we also have a problem in the wintertime in accumulating a lot of manure. And so we need a solution for that problem. And that problem is deep bedding in the barn during the winter. And you guys can check the video out on that and how we manage that manure during the winter. And what happens is it then turns into a big giant pile of fertility that's going to help us out in the pasture, out in our gardens, anywhere that we need it. So this pile comes from not this past winter, but the winter before, and cleaned out the barns, and we wanted to save it for the spring. So even though we cleaned this out last year, we wanted to get this out there in the spring in time for the spring rains. That's going to really help the nutrient that's in here get into the soil, feed the grass as our grass season is really getting going. This is all just waste from the barn. This is just animal manure from chickens, pigs, sheep, cows, geese, everything we've got. And this is not a finished compost, like a garden compost. We'd want to break it down a little bit more. You can see there's still, chunks of hay, still a lot of carbonaceous material, but that's okay. This is just going out to build soil, build organic matter out in the pasture. And so it's broken down enough to spread. And honestly, because we've had it here, it's broken down more than we would have to. But it's still got plenty of nitrogen in it. It's going to feed the soil. Lots of organic matter. A few rocks too, we could do without those. But this is gonna spread really, really nicely. So I'm so excited to get this out into the pasture and feeding the grass, and we're in time here. It's early in the spring, so we're gonna get this spread, and hopefully we'll get some good rains, and that will really, really kick off our grass season. One of the obvious challenges is how to get all of that out there. That's where a manure spreader comes in really handy. And this is a pretty good sized manure spreader. This is the biggest one that I could get for the machinery that I have to pull it. We're all working at scale, right? We have a manure spreader that's actually garden scale and can get pulled behind a tiny little machine, and they actually come much larger than this. So this is a little bit of an investment, but as we've scaled up and we've got multiple acres out here, and we're developing another 10 acres for pasture, it came time to get something a little bit larger, a little bit more applicable to our scale. So we saved up and broke down and got this new machine. This is really, really key. You can do it with a tractor bucket and hand and rake, and that works if that's the scale that you have, or you can even spread it by hand. But when you start getting to an acre of pasture and more, we need a way to get it out there efficiently.
With the clutch and the brakes on the tractor, it's hard to control the PTO speed as well as the tractor speed on hills and then on the flat. So I definitely think it'll be better to do it on our newer tractor where you can control the speed and the PTO differently.
Yeah, I think you're right on. And what he's talking about is, so the PTO is what transfers the power from the tractor to the spreader. And when you engage that, it makes all this work, but sometimes it engages really fast. And there's actually some bolts in here on the gearing that are made to break if the power hits it too hard, so that you break the bolt, not break something in the machine. And so we found, trying to use it with our older machine here, that it was just really hard to run it and not keep shearing those bolts off. So we're gonna go ahead and use this tractor to scoop and load and get the newer tractor hooked up to here, and I think we'll have a lot smoother process today.
Yeah.
So I love our old tractor, but she's real rough to get going. We got to give her a little extra helping hand, and hopefully the battery's charged.
Okay.
Woo. All right. Now we'll let it warm up. You want to get the other tractor started?
Yes.
There's nothing like getting to work with your kids, especially my son, Connor, who's right now the most into this, into the farm. He thinks he actually wants to take this to the next level and take it from homesteading to farming, which is, well, it's a big part of the reason we're doing this. Part of the reason we're investing as much in the land as we are, and even equipment and things as we can for the next generation. It's just an honor. It's great to get to work with him. It's fun to see him learn, and sometimes it's hard. You see him struggling trying to figure out how to run an old tractor, and there's clutches and 2 different gear shifters and handles for the bucket, and it's old and clunky, and but that's a good way to learn. It's just really, really special and neat to not just be doing this myself, dragging the kids along, but getting to have them, and in this case him, out here. Just really cool. Connor has said for as long as I can remember that he wants to farm. I think he genuinely just likes the life, because he didn't know what farming means. And you know, he's learning. He's starting to sell some chickens and turkeys, and we're talking about other things. But he's always just said he wanted to farm, and I think that's because he loves the life that we're living. He's invested in it. He's starting to learn what it means to farm. He's starting to learn what it means to count the cost, producing something versus what you make. And it's really neat to see him growing into it. I would go ahead and load from this end. When I'm gone, you can kind of clean it up. That way when I come around, I can just follow the pile. It'll be less driving back and forth and loading from that end coming down here. You need more throttle. So most of it you'll want to come this way so it doesn't spill out. You probably need a little more throttle, and try to get a little bit. You're about half as much as you can get.
Okay.
A little challenging with this because of the wheels. Jump into it from back there, you get your bucket in, then you can kind of push and tilt up.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. That's better. Getting better. It can be challenging to teach people things. It can be very challenging. A guy like me, my tendency is just go get it done. I'm very particular. I'm kind of perfectionist. I like everything so. And then it's easy to just go, oh, I can do it myself. But people don't learn that way. And so, yeah, sometimes it's challenging to just let them go, let them figure it out, and try to find a balance of how much do you say, hey, do this, don't do that, try this, you know, and how much do you just let them learn by experience, because that's ultimately we've all got to learn that, but it's helpful to have the tips. So yeah, it's a journey to be on. Nobody taught me this stuff. I'm learning not only how to do them, but how to teach them, you know, to the next generation. And it's just part of life. It's challenging. I think what's neat, hopefully, he's going to be better. Not only going to be better at doing all of this, he's going to be better, and all of them are at then passing it on to the next generation. They're not only going to be better at homesteading, at farming, they're going to be better at parenting, at it, teaching. That's rewarding. All the way. Bump it. Bump it a little more. That's better. It's just sticking a little. Hey buddy, you can go for a ride. Let's go. Let's go. Always put your pins back or you'll lose them. Trust me. All right, we did it, man. What do you think?
Glad to be done.
Glad to be done. Yeah, how was it running that old tractor?
Fun. I haven't done it before, so that was a learning experience for me.
Well, you know, we learn to make do, right? We're thankful to have some newer equipment, but we're thankful for our older equipment too. And look at that, it took care of, I didn't measure it, how many cubic yards, but I'd guess there was 50 at least. So
Wow.
we got it spread out, it's out on the pasture. And now we just need to pray for some rain and get ready to start running the season's temporary fence, right?
All right.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
If you want to find out more about what we're doing with multi-species rotational grazing out on the pasture, check out this video.